And just as an outline for today of what we're going to talk about, it's going to be actionable steps you can take to be productive, which helps a lot when you're running a drop shipping or e-commerce store. So we'll go over some different action items and things like that you can try to implement to help you with staying organized. So I guess with that in mind, Matt, why don't you hop us first into the first tip that you have for staying productive?
All right. So the first one is procrastination is a big no-go. Always cut to the chase. So obviously, with everything in life, there's a bunch of stuff that's not important and there's stuff that really matters. So delaying or waiting around or not starting up, doing all sorts of notes all the time can be a killer for your online business. So just make sure you focus on like what's really important. So drop shipping is included in that. It's not any different from anything else, any other business. And really to make yourself feel better. And if you wanted to start your own business, it'll be as simple as getting up and start doing stuff. So just make sure that you're like getting up and starting it. That's like the first step. And so the action item for this is, that's why we always recommend you just grab one piece of information and start following it by doing, not just by reading. So super important to actually do it, not just read it. And so for you to get started, if you're stuck with a blank Shopify store, go ahead and put it to the work. Enroll in the free Oberlo course, which has everything you really need to get started in one single place. You don't really need to read 5,000 articles on dropshipping. Just grab one and start doing it. Don't search for more. Don't move on to the next one. Don't try to like jump ahead or anything like that. Like just start with that one individual piece and learn it. And you can only process so much of it. So that's the whole point of it, right? You want to try and take in everything and understand it as best you can.
Well, I was just going to say, I think a really important note on that is there's sometimes two different mindsets you can get stuck in. Like you said, feeling super overwhelmed with the number of like the amount of content that you're like, oh my gosh, where do I start? And that can be so overwhelming when you're getting started. And then I know if you're somebody like me, sometimes I do so much research and I look into so many things, but I don't actually implement what I'm learning because I'm just trying to be like, okay, this is how you do it. So like Matt said, just cut to the chase, no procrastination, like just I definitely start with the 101 course, the Oberlo one. That one's awesome, walks you through everything, and then just go and get started and test it out and try. So my second tip is to break up your time and to make sure you are taking little breaks as you're working. So for example, maybe you work for 45 minutes and then you take a quick 5-minute break. Like it's important to kind of reset. I think a lot of us, if it's something we're building, it's not like you're working a 9-to-5 job where it's like, okay, these are the hours in which I'm doing things. If you're doing things yourself, sometimes it can be easy to get stuck just like going for hours and hours and hours on end and be like, oh my gosh, so much time has passed by, I didn't even realize. So definitely, take a moment to stretch, take those little breaks because that's going to allow you to work longer. It's just taking that time for yourself. So action item, like I said, if you're doing 45 minutes, maybe take 5 minutes, see what works for you. Sometimes like just taking a step away too, especially if you get frustrated working on something, like say you're setting up shipping or something like that, maybe that's a little bit more stressful to do. It can get really, not taking that 5-minute break just to take a breather can just lead to things being more and more stressful. So honestly, sometimes just that 5 minutes away, take a step away, stretch, do something different, that can get you back in the right mindset to keep working. And I think it's called Pomodoro technique. I think that's the proper name of. So if you guys want to look that up, definitely Google Pomodoro technique for some more detailed information. But yeah, just take that time. And I think that helps a lot with just getting some new, fresh ideas and new perspective, especially when you're getting stuck in that stressful.
The third tip for today, no smartphone during the first hour of your day. So just making sure that you're not on your cell phone in the first hour of your day so that you can be productive. A smartphone's primary function is to interrupt you. So like the notifications that you get from Facebook or from Twitter, they're meant to like let you know that something's happening, and then that takes your focus away from what you're trying to do. So don't let tasks, emails, or anything like that interrupt you during the day, especially when you're trying to focus on work. Unless you're taking that 15-minute Pomodoro technique break, that would probably be the one time where you can check your phone. So, but take that first hour to think about the day ahead of you, plan it out, read a book, even if that helps you gain clarity. Enjoy your breakfast. Food is super important. Some people like coffee, some people like tea, some people like, anything with caffeine really. can be good to start your day out. So, but also, be cautious of your health. The first hour of your day is really important, since this is when you're going to be doing your head start. So like me personally, I like to get up an hour early before work, get ready, go for a jog, have some breakfast, have some tea, and start my day. And so this will influence your mood, your ideas, and how you will think about things. So it's the whole getting up on the wrong side of the bed. You want to get up on the right side of the bed, right? Have that good sort of like intention as you go out into the day, and with what you're learning. So the action item for that is, if you're grabbing your phone automatically every single morning, in the evening, put a sticker on your phone that says "not today." So it would just cover your whole entire screen and remember what's going on. So when you wake up in the morning, you'll see that sticker and you'll remind yourself like, oh yeah, I'm not going to go on my phone for a bit here. So try that, test it out on your own and see if it helps.
So my tip number 4 is to plan the next day. I think this is huge. It's something I implement all of the time. So the night, like that night before you go to bed, just make a list of everything you want to do the next day. Don't make it too overwhelming where you're like, okay, I'm not going to get X, Y, and Z done. Like really think about your list and what you want to add on there. But just having a list of all the things you want to accomplish can, one, it'll get your day started much quicker the next day, because you're not spending maybe half an hour to an hour actually writing out, okay, what am I going to do today? Blah, blah, blah. You have it all ready to go and it's prepped the night before. Plus, I always find it helps me sleep so much better because I don't have all these ideas running through my head. Because for me, if I don't write it down or have a list, then that thought will just keep repeating and repeating and repeating. And I know I'm not going to get a good night's sleep. So in general, I love using lists, and I love just writing anything down. Even throughout the day, if there's something you can think of you want to do the next day, just jot a quick little note down. That way, at the end of the night, you can formulate your list and write anything down on that. So for sure, write down a list, have yourself, have things ready to go. That's going to help organize your day and just get you started much quicker rather than procrastinating and having to, do your list the day of. Last thing I was going to say about lists is that, I don't know, maybe it differs for people, but if I have a physically like written down list of everything I want to do, it's so satisfying just like checking it off. And you feel so accomplished at the end of the day when you look at your list and you're like, wow, okay, I got all 6 of these things done that I wanted to do. Even if they're small things, just have the list, write it down, and mentally it puts you in a different space of like, wow, okay, I accomplished everything I needed to. And it just makes you realize all the things you did in a day rather than just like working without seeing those final like results that you've actually accomplished. So
yeah, absolutely. So number 5 is exercise daily. It's something that I touched on already before, but just getting a little bit of exercise every day is incredibly important, especially when you're doing a desk job or working at a computer where you're kind of stuck in a fixed position for a really long time. So a few things are vital in life: food, water, shelter, relationships, and exercise. Exercise is incredibly important. And I feel like with our modern society, we have gyms and stuff like that, but it's not built in anymore like it used to be. So without this stuff, you can't function properly. Scientific research has shown that regular exercise can make you happier, smarter, and more energetic, which is obviously really important for running a business. You want to be your best self because it'll show in your work. So just how things work, and that's just how things work, and it has been proven thousands of times. Physical exercising does indeed help with your creativity and how you look at certain tasks. So like I said, I like to have a jog in the morning. It's just a light 15-minute jog just to kind of get the blood circulating. Nothing too heavy or anything like that. I don't work out. I don't physically work out, like lift weights or anything like that. So it's pretty much the only exercise that I do get besides going out and just sort of living life and whatnot. So the action item for that would be to simply go over to YouTube and try and find an exercise video that would fit you. And I have a suggestion for later, an app that you guys can check out for working out. It's an audio workout app, and it really helps with that kind of stuff. If you're completely unfamiliar to working out and what you should be doing, it really helps to have some guidance or something to show you what to do. So just look for, a 20-minute video. It can be even less than that if you're just starting out. Do some basic stretches, and yeah, you'll see some results with your store. You'll start noticing pretty quick.
My 6th tip is to find time that works best for you for your productivity as well. So just like I had mentioned, everybody likes different exercise, I guess, routines. Like some people like competition, some people like doing things solo, some people like doing slow, sometimes some people like doing fast exercise. Like figure out what works for you. It also applies to your productivity. So for me, I'm super productive in the morning. That's when I'm like the most, once I get up and get ready, that's when I'm the most awake and I can get the most things done. Versus, again, the difference of my partner, he could be up working at like 12, 1, 2, 3, 4 in the morning. And that's when his brain is just like going, going, going. And he can get so much stuff done. So again, just recognize the time that works for you and don't force yourself to do things on, ways that don't align with who you are and what's best. So even if it takes a week or two, try different times out, try different exercises out, test a bunch of things, and then you'll eventually get to the point where you know, like, okay, this is when I feel most productive. This is the type of exercise I like most. This is what works for me. And then you can really, based on, how you're most productive and what's best for you. So that was just my my 6th tip. But what's your 7th tip?
If you're having a bad day, you can press that reset button. A lot of people, maybe it's not a skill that they're taught growing up. But I really think it's important, especially if you're having a bad day, like learning how to reset, how to hit that reset button, how to just take a break, take a step back away, think logically, think not from an emotional standpoint. If you're really upset about something or if you're really happy about something, that's another one that can kind of lead you down a stray path. But we're talking about specifically about bad days right now. So one thing that we do is, people might get angry around you or at you, and it's not something that we can control per se. Stuff happens. Try not to get down about it. Try not to beat yourself up about it. Take some time alone. Go for a walk, listen to some music, and just try to like recenter your thoughts back into that productive sort of like energy giving, I guess would be the best way to describe it. And the action item for that one is it's pretty self-explanatory. You just need to make sure that you keep yourself accountable. That's like the bottom line, and you're not letting your day just run away from you. So just press that reset button, forget about it, and do better the next day. Sometimes it's good to just step away entirely, get a good night's sleep, wake up the next day, do all those things that we mentioned before, do a little bit of exercise, have a good breakfast, have some coffee or tea, and just start your day again. And you'd be surprised what a difference that makes.
And this is a tip I love, and it was something I heard a few months back, was a recommendation, which is to make an admin day once a month. So what I mean by that, we all know we have a list of, a million things we have to do, whether it's going to the dentist or, I don't know, doing some kind of mailing you need to do, or just like little things that, kind of build up. They don't have to get done right away. So what I always recommend is once a month or once every couple of months, depending on how many things you have to do, keep a running list somewhere, whether it's on your fridge or in your phone or whatever it might be, of all these little things that you need to do that aren't like time dependent. And then once a month, just say, okay, today is my admin day. I'm dedicating this whole entire day just to getting through this list, because you don't know how good you'll feel just knowing like, okay, I have all my appointments done. I have all of the, like, get the car oil changed, whatever it might be. Just get everything done in that one day, because then you're not thinking about it all the time as well. Like, sometimes you have those little things that are in the back of your mind, but then throughout your whole entire month, you're thinking like, oh, I've got to do this. Oh, I've got to do this. I've got to do this. And it's just like a thought that's stuck in your head that you need to do, but it's kind of pointless to have that thought in there. So just, if you have a dedicated once a month day to just get through all of that stuff, whether it's work, personal, whatever it might be, it can help you just like let go of the thought and the worry about having to do that, because you have dedicated time. And then once you do get that day done, it feels so nice to be like, all those things I've been putting off forever are just done. So that's a huge tip that I implement as well, because I know I can get stuck just like thinking about all the million little things that I should be doing that I'm not doing, that are like, eventually have to do type things.
The last tip is always to think about the why behind the work that you're doing. So taking the time to remember why you're doing something, what your long-term plan is, what your main goal is, all of these things can kind of help you refocus and be in the mode of doing things. being productive. So because you have a purpose or reason, that's going to really motivate you. It's going to remind you like why you're doing something. Sometimes you can kind of get a little lost as to why you're working so hard on your drop shipping store. I know me personally, when I first started out, it took me about 40 hours to kind of like get to the point where I felt comfortable with using the platform, and that's like 2 hours a day sort of thing, right? 2-3 hours a day sort of thing. So it can take a while for some people, and that can be really quick for some other people. So, but just remembering why you're doing something. For me, it was learning something new. I really like learning something new. So, but yeah, shifting your perspective and getting into that mindset really helps with remembering the larger picture. So, I think that's super important, especially when you can kind of get like lose focus or lose desire. Just remember why you're doing something and why you started to do it in the first place. And then make your decision based on that.
So I think that's a perfect last tip to end on. And in the chat, please let us know if you have any tips as well, or if you've tried any of these techniques and what's worked for you. Well, we are super happy to share anything that's going to help you guys grow and be successful. That's why we're here, in order for all of you to grow. So in the chat too, let us know what topics and things like that you would love us to cover in future episodes. Because like I said, we're here for you. So if there's something on the back of your mind, let us know and we'll definitely make an episode about it. So we will see you all next week. And thank you so much for joining us.